Hi, welcome back. It's so good to see you again. I was hoping you'd stop by today. Hello to our new friends. My name is Michelle, and this is Life Changes, and I'm really glad that you're here. If you have time, hit subscribe so you can come again. I'd love to have you visit. Today, I wanted to talk to you about hobbies. Who has a hobby? Anybody? Anybody have hobbies? Everybody should have something fun because it brings us joy. And in Psalms 118:24, it says, "This is the day the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it." The Lord wants us to have joy in our days. He wants us to have joy in Him. He was pretty creative too. I mean, He did make the world in 6 days. That's a pretty big hobby. So, hobbies change. If you are a young mom, or no matter what age you are, hobbies can be a great thing. Storm agrees. He's right here. He always wants to be near me. So I wanted to share about hobbies. Now, everybody has different hobbies. You may not have the same hobby that I have. In fact, right now I'm kind of confused as to what my hobby actually is. It has changed over the years. Some years it was music and playing the piano. Some years it was art and drawing. Some years it was reading books. When I had little ones, I just wanted to sit down for 15 minutes and just read and just kind of lose myself in that story. Other times it's been crafting. At one time, I did try knitting. I've tried cross stitch. I have tried crochet. I've tried many different hobbies. And depending on what season of life you are in, your hobbies can change. And hobbies aren't just for ladies. No, these can be for anyone. Guys, you can have hobbies too. My father's hobby was model trains. And I'm going to be honest with you, I absolutely loved going into his train room and helping him work on his train. He had an extra room. Hello, kitty. That was midnight. And he actually built the train layout inside the room. So when they wanted to get it out, it didn't fit out the door. So they had to do some rearranging there. But he would work on model trains. He loved it. So these can be very different. Sorry, kitty is playing. But I wanted to share with you something that I made. I have some littles that like to come over. I have my granddaughter, but I have some other littles that like to come over too. And you know, if you have littles, you need to have something for them to play with. Not just the kitties. She's taking off with the bag. Do you hear it rustling? I can get another bag. Here. What are you doing? Just a second. Let me get her out of trouble. Okay. You know what they say. Curiosity killed the cat. Well, it's not going to kill the kitty, but she's messing and stuff. So, are you ready to see what I've done? This is something that I made, and this is a crafty kind of thing, and you can do it too. Are you ready? You want a hint? Yeah. I made a pizza playset. See? And this is what I did. And you can do this too. You can do this in many, many different ways. Yes, you can buy them at the store, and they're already done. And those are great. If you want to go that route for your littles, you can do that. But then it's not a craft if you don't make it. So this way you can do something with the littles, and you can have a craft too. Now, I did mine with felt because I love felts a lot. And we have a lot of felts that were left over from homeschooling. So I used the felts that I had and the materials that I had. I did not buy anything for this felt. Everything I had is everything that you see I actually had here in the house. So, of course, the first thing that we do, we need pizza crust, right? Yeah. So we have a wheat, we have regular, and we have gluten-free. These are just circles. You can actually sew around the edges of it if you want it to look like a crust. I'm going to be honest with you, it's not necessary. It's crafting, so I did it. The reason we have different kinds of crust is because I only had these 3 colors and enough to make one. So this was gluten-free, this was regular, this was wheat. It's thin crust. You can tell it's a little thinner. So that's our crust. And then we need sauce, right? This is just red that I cut out, and I kind of scalped the edges a little bit so it'd look like sauce. So you put it on your pizza, just like this. And I have 3 of them, so they can make 3 pizzas. Now we need toppings, right? What kind of toppings do you like on your pizzas? Well, of course, most people like pepperonis. These are just little circles. You can actually cut 2 circles out and sew these together. You can see where I've sewed them together. I don't know what that is. I think Kitty's playing with something over there. So these were my little pepperonis. You don't have to do that. You can just cut out circles. So I have a handful of pepperonis. Then, of course, mushrooms. This is my little pattern I made from mushrooms. I made this pattern. Here it is. It's nothing fancy. And again, I doubled it and sewed around the edges of it just so that it was thicker and it was just easier for little hands. I made onions. We only have 2 onions left. This is just purple on the outside with white on the inside. You don't have to do that. You just cut out a circle. Now this was my favorite, and I was feeling very creative when I did it. You know what these are? They're peppers, right? They look like peppers. Well, let me show you what I did, because this one doesn't want to do it. This is a triangle. I sewed the edges together, and when you flip it inside out, it makes your shape. So that was my peppers. And then, of course, we need cheese, right? Everyone needs cheese. This is yarn, just pieces of yarn that I cut up that they can sprinkle on their pizzas. And that's all it is. You can make this with paper, construction paper. You could make this with cardboard or cardstock if you had it. You could cut these shapes out in cardboard if you have extra boxes laying around. The inside of cereal boxes work really great as well. You can let your littles, if they're visiting, actually color this stuff and make it themselves. There's no fancy way to do it. And then all I did was I saved, this is an Italian, empty Italian, and this is an garlic. And I saved it. They're empty. I did not wash it out because I wanted the smell. So when they open this up, there's the smell. You could also take one of the shaky cheeses. You could do that. And my granddaughter added to this, she put in a plastic knife. Because you got to cut your pizza somehow, right? Right. And all I did was save these, because we had actually gotten a pizza in here, or if you do a takeout pizza, and I saved it. So some of them actually do smell like pizza inside. Some of them don't. Some of them have a little grease stain because it's authentic, right? Yeah. Now, the cool thing about this is all of these fit inside one box. So if you just want to have one box, you can do that. You can have 3, like I did. If you have 3 of these small boxes, and this is how I store mine, I put them in like a bag from the grocery store, like a bag that you would get something when you buy something at the grocery store, the little plastic bags, and then I just hang it up on a hanger and then hang it in the closet, so it's an easy way to store it. This is easy. You can easily make this, and I know that it's getting towards summer, and school is almost out, so I know that there's a lot of you out there that have littles that are at home, and you're like, after a while, what am I supposed to do with these? What do I do with them? Well, everybody loves playing restaurant or store. So you can go out and get some play money. I have play money floating around here somewhere. I think they used it for something else. But you can have play money. That would be the only expense that I had, but I think I already had it. You can let them make their own play money. Or maybe you have an extra game that has play money with it. Or you can go out to the thrift store and usually find games for cheap. Or you can go to the dollar store and get it for cheap if you really want money. Give them some paper. Let them make orders. Let them make their pizzas. This will be hours of fun for them. And it's also hours of fun for you if you make this. And it'll be special. And if you play this with them, they'll just love it. So I'm so glad that you came by today. I hope this was fun, and I'll share more things that I have made in my crafty hobby stage. I will show this. If you would like to see some of the things that my father made, I have some small things of trains that he made that I got. My brother got the big ones, I got the small ones. If you'd like to see that, let me know in the comments below, and maybe I can show you some of those things, because hobbies can be in many, many different forms. So I'm so glad you came. Remember to have joy in the Lord. Have this day to be joyful. And remember, I love you. God loves you. Bye, friends.